Yes, a Wiltshire choir has been named as one of the best in the country after winning the Barnardo's Choir of the Year competition. The group from Godolphin School near Salisbury won the award yesterday at the Barbican Theatre in London. Now, Olivia Sparkhall is the director of the choir and she joins us now. Olivia, hello.
Hello, Lee.
I tell you what, it's all the rage, isn't it, being in a choir at the moment? I remember when I was a choir boy a million years ago, you know, it was one of those things which was still very much related to religion and still very much not thought of as being very trendy. Now, being in a choir can be a very trendy thing to do.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, just things like Glee, I think, on TV have really helped choirs become quite popular.
And does that popularity change the kind of people who volunteer to be in the choir and actually the attitudes, you know, where years ago you might have had members of the school kind of dragging their feet to go to the upstairs music room to perform at lunchtime? Now it's not quite the same.
No, I'm so lucky, actually. With the choir run, the Godolphin Vocal Ensemble, girls are queuing up to join. They have to go through quite a rigorous audition process to get in. And once they get in, they absolutely love it. I can't keep them away. It's fantastic.
And I guess it's rigorous as well once they're in because, you know, it's supply and demand, isn't it? And if there are lots of people who want to get involved, they have to stay at a pretty high standard.
That's it. Yep, you're absolutely right. And they are so enthusiastic about it. They work so hard and... well, you know, the results speak for themselves, didn't they?
Well, absolutely, and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Talk to me about what kind of choir it is.
Yeah, sure. Well, the choir I run do all sorts of things because they are in a school. We sing in the cathedral in Salisbury and do that kind of, you know, sort of classical religious stuff. But we also do lots of fun things as well, and lots of secular music, good concerts in school. We go out to other schools, to prep schools, to sing concerts, and we do all sorts of fun things. And we've just started doing these competitions. So it's all very exciting.
Yeah, it's just started and you're already winning. Do you have to, if you like, choose the right pieces of music to, not just to perform, but really to educate a choir as well? Because when you talk about secular music and religious music, I suppose there are two different things that young choristers need to learn. And one of them is obviously technically how to perform the music. But the other, of course, is the emotion. And there's an emotional growth through being in a choir.
Absolutely right. Yeah, you've really put your finger on it. And that's the thing we've been working on so much over the last year in particular, just being able to communicate what the composer intended. And it's so much of what we've been doing. We've been doing all sorts of special exercises and working out ways to really get that message across, to really engage with our audience, really. That's the key.
And there's nothing more healthy, is there? Because through doing that, you find a group of young people who really, on a almost a spiritual level, but certainly a really deep level, communicate with one another.
That's right. I mean, the sort of teamwork you get when you're working with a choir, there's nothing to compare it with, really. And working at the standard we're at now, it's almost the psychic ability to connect with each other and them connecting with me and us all connecting with the person accompanying us. It's just... yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah, you can understand when you're talking about peace between nations and whatever else, we use the phrase harmony, you know. It's absolutely right, isn't it? Now, listen, Michael Gove has said today that the government's going to spend £82.5 million on music education. How important is music? Well, quite. I can see that's good news for you. But I suppose when you're fighting your department's corner, how important is music education compared to things like mathematics and science and English, which we think of as core subjects?
You know, it's so unbelievably important, actually, and there's actual research that shows if you do partake in music in some way, it can improve your results. I think it brings communities together, and it makes such a profound difference to the lives of some of these children. I'm absolutely delighted that the government is realising how important music is, because it does change lives and it does improve the quality of people's experience.
Do you see pupils or people, youngsters who you think, if only I could get them into my choir, you know, I'm sure I'd sort a thing or two out for them?
Certainly. You know, there are girls who have some issues, I suppose, in their lives. But you know, all teenagers do, don't they?
Of course they do.
It's you know, it's such a difficult time, and I think you can sometimes forget your worries when you're singing with the choir because you're working in such an intense way. Yeah, I think it can be a real sort of medicine in some ways for girls, yeah.
Well, look, I mean, this is the choir's success and it's the girls' success, but I can see why they've done so well with a teacher like you, Olivia.
You're so kind.
Full of enjoyment and enthusiasm. But you're like Miss Lydia from The Kids from Fame, you are. You see, I'm from the Kids from Fame generation rather than the Glee generation, but there you go. Sure, I'm not alone. Olivia, lovely to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
And you,
and I hope the choir goes from strength to strength, both in terms of those competitions and just the enjoyment that the choristers are having. Olivia Sparkhall joining us on the programme this evening or this afternoon.